Assalamu Alaikum everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a wonderful day. In today's video, I'm going to answer your questions. Some of you have asked me questions in the last few weeks, which some of the questions were kind of straightforward. So I've answered them on the comment section. Some of them I'm going to answer them today in this video. And one of the questions that people have been asking, and I think this is something that I've done a video on it before, is where I think it's called how to purify stocks or something like that. I'll share it here so you can see it, inshallah, so you can watch that video if you're interested. Like how to purify your dividends and capital gains and all of that stuff. But also some people have questions on the Sharia compliance side of things of companies. So who comes up with this 33% rule or 30% rule, whatever, right? Who comes the 5% rules? Is that actually a good thing? You know, people do have questions, and I get it. It's absolutely fine to have those questions. But the thing is, people like me and you can't answer those questions because we are not Islamic scholars. We're not basically, we don't work in the banking world. We don't work in the financial side of things or Islamic finance, if you like. But these guys do. So these are the members of the AOAIFI, okay? They are the committee of people that were chosen to look at the financial details of ETFs and all of that and then sign them. So some of the companies that, for example, iShares and so on, will have to put together, okay, an ETFs and so on, and then these guys will check and then sign it off, if you like. So every single ETF, okay, will have a document that's signed by one of these scholars. They're all from all different countries. So you can see some from Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, some are from Bahrain, some are from different Jordan, if you like, again, most Saudi Arabia. So you can see from Kuwait and Turkey and so on. So they represent basically represent different countries, but their common goals are to make sure, and they don't just talk about stocks, by the way. We're talking about Islamic finance. Okay, we're talking about mortgages, we're talking about banking, we're talking about everything. Basically, they've got loads of different standards. So if you go to their website, okay, you will find this long document. If you put your email and name, you'll get a pop-up basically that gives you this link. This link has basically everything from debt to trading in currencies, if you want to know what they think, okay. Some of them are very technical, some of them is not as technical, okay. So the bit that I'm interested and the bit that I want to learn more of is the basically shares, okay. So if you scroll down, I think it was 21, there we go, financial papers or financial paper, shares and bonds. If you click that link, it takes you to this long link, okay, where it talks about different types of rulings, different things. For example, it talks about the 33% rule, the 5% rule when it comes to the interest-bearing debt and so on. Okay, so it's a long document, but you will find everything you need to know, and I'll show you some of these things right now. On page 5 of 38, okay, if you get to this document, I'll put the link on this video so you can see it is for yourself as well. I don't know if it actually will work because I had to put my details, but I'll try anyway. It talks about here, okay, this section there, it says the collective amount raised on a loan on interest, whether a long-term or short-term debt, does not exceed 30% of the market capitalization. So that's why we normally divide the debt level divided by the market cap. That gives us the percentage for basically for that one. So some people will say 33% because it's the third of the basically 100, obviously. So 33%, 30%. So you will see that interest bearing basically is deposit and also cannot basically be exceed 5%, and there's 30%, sorry. At the same time, here we go, the month of income generated prohibited component does not exceed 5%. Some of you asked me recently, how is that possible? What isn't it like if it's 1% is haram, obviously, and so and so. Again, I don't make those rules. I'm just giving you the information that was provided, and I do feel comfortable enough to actually trust this committee of people who have the knowledge to do these things. So please have a look at that document, okay. The 3 things we normally talk about are all in there. The 5%, Zoya did not get those information just from nowhere. They have to follow those rules, and it will tell them. It will tell you when you log in on the top of the app. You will say to you basically the 30% or 33%, depending on which, whatever, I can't remember what they say, and the 5% is all in there. So if you go to page 5 of the 38, okay, you will find all the information that you need, and in here is 21. Okay, so if you click 21 and then put your details, it will take you here, and then you will be able to find that information. So that's the Sharia compliance side of it. Hopefully people understand where I'm coming from when I basically talk about these things. It's not stuff I made up. I'm not a scholar. I'm following these guys, and I hope they're right, and I hope they work with basically some of the biggest companies in the world. Okay, so I don't know, only Allah knows best. So recently, one of the questions that one of the brothers have asked me is regarding the ISA account. So he said, I heard you mention about not wanting to let your ISA account exceed 100k, and I would like to know more basically about your strategy. Okay? My strategy is I wanted this account to go at least to 200,000, right? And after that, I'm going to use different brokerage and then restart another ISA account there. I'm hoping the government will not change that 20,000 limit that we can have. So if this basically gets to 100,000, after that is just going to grow. All the dividends will be reinvested. I will leave it alone. I'm not going to add any fresh money. That's the only thing I wanted. That's what I was talking about. And the reason I said that is because I want to have a diversified portfolio of like brokerage, for example. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, if you like. Okay, so if this one, inshallah, in the next year or so gets to 100,000, I will stop putting fresh money. I will just reinvest. If I sell it, I will also reinvest that money, and I will leave it alone. I will not going to add any more money, and then I'll open another ISA account, and I will use that one till it gets to 100, and then I'll start another one, inshallah, if I can. That's the plan. That's what I want to do. And the reason is just to kind of diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Someone asked me recently to kind of go through some of the basically metrics that we use when we're talking about like when we basically analyzing the stock. They said, you know what, can you do a video to kind of summarize what these things mean? And inshallah, I've got a plan for that. Inshallah, we'll do that very soon. Regarding commodities, someone asked me about commodities, so like gold, silver, oil, and lithium, and so on, stocks. I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about these things, okay? And I'm trying to learn as much as I can, but I haven't had the time to look at it. I don't think the returns for gold and so gold is safe, basically, but companies that sell gold, whatever, I think gold, I had them for a long time ago, made a little bit of money, and then I sold it because I didn't understand the ins and outs of commodities at the time. I'm getting there now, but with oil, definitely, okay, I want to add energy companies to my portfolio just to diversify. I know oil, I don't know what's going to happen to oil in the future, but I think oil will probably be easy one to add. I do like Chevron, I do like Exxon, and yeah, those are the two Sharia compliant US based companies. But yeah, inshallah, in the long run, oil will definitely be added. I also have Rio Tinto, okay, the iron ore company, okay, goes up and down. Today, I think it might be down. I need to check their earnings report is actually on right now. I think they've got their earnings call right now. So I might actually rewatch that and then see what they say. But it looks like it's down. So I haven't checked whether they beat basically the top line and bottom line, but we will see. So it's down a little bit, but iron ore company, I really like Rio Tinto. I want to have this at least to 4-5%. I know they cut their dividends and all of that stuff, but I do like the company itself. I like the business side of it. I like the fact that it's UK based company. I don't have to do all that and FX impact on all that stuff. So yeah, inshallah, I will I'll look into it more on commodities in the long run. But right now, I think if I was to buy ETF, maybe I would buy an ETF that tracks all the gold companies that are maybe compliant, if I can find such a thing, right? Rather than just buying individual companies. But we will see, inshallah. Right, the next question was, someone asked me, how do you calculate the interest-bearing debt? It's very hard to tell from the balance sheet. So it's not that difficult. Okay, so interest-bearing debt and interest-bearing securities, both of them, I'm going to show you how to do it. The hardest part to determine is the business, that 5%, because you need to know what section. If the company has such a way that they talk about, they break down their basic income for each sector, for each segment, if you like, and the segment that you're after. For example, if the company sells, I don't know, some alcohol, and the alcohol is like 3-4%, you can easily calculate that one. But it is quite difficult, that one. So that's why I use Zoya. It's a kind of easier way of basically doing it. Some companies is straightforward, so technology companies I can determine, but other companies is a little bit tricky. Okay, if you into like if you know about one of the sectors or the markets that well, so for example healthcare, if you're in healthcare, you might find it easy to calculate. I don't know, but let me show you how to calculate the interest bearing debt first, and then I'll show you how to do the interest bearing securities. So all you need to do is so if you go to Seeking Alpha, scroll down all the way to capital structure. Okay, that is the debt level of that company, and that's the market cap. So you just need to divide these two times by 100, whatever percent you get. Make sure it's not above 33%. 30% and 33%. Okay, so once you've done that, that's it. That's the first one. The second one is if you go to Yahoo Finance, okay, and you go type the name of the company that you're after and so on. Go to financials, then balance sheet, and then if you scroll down here, you'll see cash and cash equivalents. So that's basically what you're after. So the latest cash and cash equivalents, you take that number divided by the market cap times by 100. That'll give you the interest bearing securities. That's it. Again, 33%, 30%, whatever it is. The 5% is the only one that you just need to worry about. So that's that one is slightly a little bit more difficult. You need to look at the balance sheet of the company, look at their revenue, break down the revenue, what part of the revenue comes from non-Sharia compliant. If it's more than 5%, then look into it, getting rid of it, if that's the case. So yeah, that's how basically you can calculate that one as well. So hopefully that will help. So Sharia compliance side of it, I'm not going to answer those questions again. I will refer back to this video or the video called how to purify your stocks. I think that's what I called it. I'll share the link again on this video. The other thing one of the brothers have asked is, what if a company becomes non-Sharia compliant? Again, do exactly like I've always said to you guys. If I'm down, I will actually sell it straight away. If I'm up, I will sell it and give portion of that money for charity, just to be on the safe side. And there's no ruling that says you have to do that, but I'll just give some of that money to charity. Okay. But if I'm down, I was holding on to VF corporations, although it basically was non-Sharia compliant for a long time. I was down £900. It went to 800. It went 700. It was about 700 something, almost 800 pounds, and then I took a loss and I sold it. Okay, that happened before, and Amgen, it was getting there. I sold it out of it. Okay, there are other one more company that I need to do more research on in the next couple of days that could potentially get there if the market kind of keeps going down. I mean, the markets were down. By the way, I don't know if you've seen it yesterday. The markets were down very much. 2%. So I was busy yesterday, so I didn't actually get the chance to look at what was happening. But they were all down. The Nasdaq, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, all of them were actually down basically 2% or more. But yeah, so that is the non-Sharia compliance side of things. If something happens to the company and they become non-compliant, if you're up, sell it, take your money. If you're down, maybe hold on to until the next quarter. When you break even, as soon as you break even, take your money, run away. If it's small loss, sometimes you take it. This is the risk of buying individual stocks. Brothers and sisters, if you're sitting there thinking, I do not have the time to do these things, please take your money and put it into those ETFs. The ETFs that we've spoken about so far, okay? Go and buy those ETFs. You've got 200 companies, 300 companies in there that are obviously these people put together that meet the Sharia compliance side of it. You don't have to do any of the maintenance. You pay that 3%, 0.3% the expense ratio, and you just dollar cost average every single month. You're up. Look at right now. If I put every single penny that I've had now, and I was up 6%, right, is exactly the same more or less that where I am right now. Okay, I haven't done the numbers, but if I added all my money into this one single ETF, which I will not do, by the way, because you kind of also need to diversify between ETFs as well. Okay, but oh, by the way, the other thing I've realized as well, now we're talking about ETFs, this ETFs and the HSBC ETFs, I think track the same indices or same kind of Sharia. I think it's the MSCI, basically World Islamic. Okay, the World Islamic, MSCI, World Islamic tracks the same. They have all more or less the same companies, whatever in there. But yeah, I would buy this instead of just trying to do the maintenance that I need to do almost on a weekly basis. So that's quite hard, but I do enjoy that. If you don't enjoy it and you're thinking about the risk, go and buy ETFs. Now that brings me to the next question. One of the brothers said, or sisters have said, what is an ETF? An ETF is a basket of companies, basically 100 to 200 companies that are, in this situation, this ETF has about 200 companies that were handpicked by a committee of people put together that meets the Sharia compliant standards, and they then basically, you can buy this for, I don't think, was it £33, and then that's it. You pay small fee for the maintenance, okay, and if you're using brokerage like a trading 212, you don't pay any commission. You just pay for the expense ratio, and this one actually pays dividend. So every single quarter, twice a year, this one, May and November, this will pay you some small amount of dividends. Just to be transparent, to show you guys, I think, there we go, I got £8.14 basically for owning 23 shares at that time. And my plan for this ETF is actually to make this at least the 5% of my portfolio. I'm sick and tired of all this maintenance. So there are a couple of companies that I could potentially get rid of, not because they're non-compliant, is because they might be heading to they might have a higher debt or whatever. So I'm going to take that money and put into these ETFs. I'm looking at maybe adding one more to ETFs, inshallah. I will let you know. As always, I will share that with you when I do it, inshallah. If you haven't joined us, by the way, on the Patreon or the Discord, please do that. It does help the channel. And the other thing, actually, I was thinking, basically, one of the questions that was asked, one of the brothers have asked in the Discord this morning was, how do I get access to, once you've basically signed up for this, you get loads of these files. So how do you then make a copy for yourself? So I'm going to show you very quickly too. So this is my actual portfolio. So this is the one I use for my own thing. Okay. And what you need to do is, once you've got access to it, it wouldn't allow you to make any change. So what you need to do is straight away go to files and make a copy, and then make a copy for yourself. Then you can edit that copy. So you have to click file, make a copy, give it a different name if that's what you want, and then make a copy. And then that copy will sit in your Google Classroom, Google Drive, and then you can use that. Okay. Right, so the final question was, one of the brothers have asked if trading 212 is my main one, and he said that you've mentioned before interactive brokers. Which one would you prefer in the long run? I'll be honest with you, both of them are really good. I love interactive brokers because it has a section where it gives you like the financial details that we normally use. So it's a lot more powerful basically than this one here, because it gives you the analyst view, analyst basic predictions, or they gives you the fair value for the stock and all of that stuff. So it's quite nice. Which one do I prefer? I actually like the platform, Trading 212 platform right now, although the other one has a little bit more details in terms of financial side of things. But this one is quite easy to use. It's straightforward. I really genuinely couldn't make a decision between the two. Both of them have good, and both of them have things that are really good about them, right? I love the app for this one here. The other Trading 212, the interactive brokers one, a little bit, I don't like the app. I'd like the web version. Whereas this one, I like the app and I like the browser as well version of it. So they're both great. And my long-term plan is to keep that one out for the family. So every penny that I get from the property that we own and any extra money that I can add every single month goes into that one, and that stays private for the family, inshallah. And when I say the family, I've got 2 children and my wife, so we've invested for the family, and that money is basically, I want to keep that separately. And then this one, inshallah, when it grows to 100,000, like I said earlier, I might actually start my new ISA account there as well, or somewhere else, basically another company that's within the UK, hopefully with the low fees and whatever, if not 0 fees. So yeah, we'll see what happens, inshallah. But they're both really good companies, and I do like the brokerage. If you haven't got the Trading 212 account yet, okay, and you live in the UK, what you waiting for? Seriously, it is quite useful, it's quite helpful, it's quite easy to use. Because basically what you see is what you get, really. There's not much to it. But yeah, let me know if you have any more questions. If there was more questions that I missed out, whatever, please let me know again. I'm trying to do everything I can, and with obviously with the full time and a family, but alhamdulillah, we're getting there. We'll make some progress. We're making really good progress, and please keep sharing your knowledge with others as well. It doesn't just need to be me just sharing these things. And I will now, if I will post the video there, if you can basically take a screenshot of this if you want to, or I will try to post this if it allows me, if I can download it and share it with you guys so you can read it for yourself. I went through basically majority of these pages when I was first starting. That's why I kind of feel comfortable enough to actually invest in these companies that I do invest. Sorry for making the video slightly longer, but I needed to answer all your questions. So have a wonderful day. Assalamu Alaikum.